The action continues as visitors from across America pay a visit to the famous Harteis Ranch. With so many hands on deck and elk fever at an all-time high, the Hollywood hunter is about to prove what hunting is all about.
My father told me at a young age to chase my passion, not my pension, and I'd never work a day in my life. I started Hollywood Hunter because I had a passion to get back to my roots and back to nature. I've taken on the Harteis Ranch because it was a passion of my father that became mine. It's evolved into now a legacy and a passion of being able to give people experiences. We've taken 21 years here at the ranch to make it what it is today. For me, there's nothing that gets me more excited than seeing other people enjoy the experience, enjoy the hunt, come to get something that's on their bucket list, and to create lifelong friends.
We've got an incredible week coming up. We're slamming some elk. These guys gonna knock down some big elk. Got a couple other dear friends from Pennsylvania and one from LA.
I know it takes a pretty penny to come to the Harteis Ranch, but the people that do invest into coming, my goal is to give them tenfold of what it took them to get here. So I love to see the guys come in and shoot their bows or guns and just know that they're confident. Jamie Hess. Jamie I'd met over a decade ago.
Oh my goodness.
On an airplane randomly, and we've become buddies, and he started coming out a handful of years ago, and he's connected with some incredible animals. So that being said, when I have unique opportunities that arise, he's usually one of the first guys I call. So Jamie has some great friends, and he decided he was going to bring out Bob, who had been here before. He was out here hunting turkeys a couple years ago. Really loved the experience. So Bob was coming out for his first elk hunt. He was in for a good time, really more than anything loved being around the animals, and a class act, really a great guy to know, a great friend, and very talented. Dan Cam had become a dear friend through our pastor, Dave Gibbons in Orange County, and I got to know Dan because he's just such a great guy.
Have you shot them at all on a target?
He revealed to me a few years ago, Freddie, I really want to get into archery, and I saw him get more and more excited about the hunt. Well, last year he had a chance to go to Idaho, and they got skunked. They didn't see an elk till the last day and never got an opportunity, and it was just a bad experience. So I said, hey bud, why don't you come out to the Harteis Ranch? We're gonna be on some elk. I can't guarantee you're gonna kill one with a bow, but I can tell you you're gonna be in the middle of them constantly. This was his first really big game experience on a hunt of this caliber, and I was excited because this guy is a ton of fun to be with. He appreciates a great experience, and he was going to be in for an adventure.
So excited to be here.
These guys know there's elk everywhere. First evening before the hunt even begins, there's elk right above the house, and these guys were chomping at the bit.
Oh, it's a nice bull, dude.
How do you feel this morning, Mr. Cam?
Feeling good. We're gonna knock them down.
Great start to the morning. We had coffee, light breakfast. The guys are gung-ho, the attitudes are up. The guides are bringing up the buggies, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Well, good morning. Here we are at the Harteis Ranch, and we have a special group here this week. There's bulls screaming all over the place, and we're gonna go out there and see if we can pound a real big bull.
So I love partnering people up because of personalities and experience. Jamie has a lot of experience. Steve is definitely my right-hand man here at the Harteis Ranch and incredibly seasoned when it comes to the outdoors and understanding hunting. I'm also putting Daniel with them because Daniel is stealthy. Daniel is very good at knowing where he needs to be. So I knew they'd do really well. So I sent them off up into the canyon first morning.
Arms Core Ammo. Right on target, right on the price. Scent Crusher. Scent off, game on. Rapto Razor takes field dressing to a whole new level. Visit raptorazor.com. Excalibur Crossbows, the most accurate hunting crossbow. ExcaliburCrossbow.com. Keystone Sporting Arms, home of the Cricket, Chipmunk, and the new 722.
Tree Stand Buddy, the quick attach slide mount system for hang-on tree stands.
Ripcord's new Ace Standard with the Firefall design. See the Ace difference. Hollywood Hunter is also brought to you by these fine sponsors. The Hollywood Hunter has stacked the deck with hunters and guides in every direction. With bulls bugling in the near distance, let's see which hunter will be aimed and ready to draw blood first.
I sent him off up into the canyon first morning. Dan, I ended up putting him with Ryan because Ryan's property is very unique. It's not a huge property, but there's tons of elk on it, and I knew they'd be in on him constantly. And Daniel being a brand new elk hunter, I knew it would take more than probably one encounter to get on these elk, to figure it out, and to pull a shot off.
This ain't Hollywood. This is about 9,000 feet higher.
Where I sent these guys into Apache, it's a big meadow and a water hole down the bottom and a lot of scrub oak. We're about 9,000 feet. The hardest part of hunting elk on the ground is the wind. The wind is constantly shifting and changing. You gotta be really careful because the number one way an elk's gonna beat you is with his nose. These guys have to be incredibly careful as they top that hill that they got that wind in their favor, because up there, the elk could be anywhere.
See the upper meadow? Yeah. Look right through the branch that's coming down up in the last part. There's elk up there. That's a big bull.
So these guys get up to the top of Apache the first morning. There's two big bulls there, and they take off. So the only way to get to the top of the repeater tower where those elk were heading is to head down the bottom, hike up that steep ridge, and crunch your way to the top, because it is some of the driest terrain you're gonna run into, and it is crunchy. So as you get in there, the hardest part is figuring out where you need to top that hill, because you don't know where exactly the elk are gonna be. They get to the top of the hill and there's nothing there. I don't know what happened to the elk. They took off or whatever it is, but Steve was calling and nothing seemed to happen.
When the sun starts going down, they'll be coming down. Which way they come down? They're gonna probably come down from over there and come straight to the bottom. Yeah.
We get up on the hillside, everything's perfect. We got a big bull pushing the cows right toward us. And sure enough, here the wind shifts 180 degrees and blows right to them.
Ah, I don't like that wind. One's on the flat. Yeah, one's up there, one's down there. He's not that far though. He might be freaking good. See, he's not that far. I think he's coming up.
As I spent that morning with him, I realized Dan wasn't real good at concealing himself. He kind of stand out there in the open with his bow and thought he could draw the bow, and elk walked in, and it just doesn't work that way, and it was a learning curve, and it's all good, but I kept saying, hey, get down, get back. All the little things that really help. Draw your bow before you see him type of thing.
But I have your bow up. If he comes, there's no way you're going to move your bow and get up and be able to draw the bow. You have your bow up ready.
He learned quick, but there was a learning curve there. So when we get up the hill, I start cow calling. There's a bull that screams.
If we can get right on this top and set up, I think I can bring him over.
So we get set up and I back up a little bit. It's Dan and Ryan up ahead of me. They're sitting in position and I cow call again. And there's another bull bugling below us. I thought that bull was coming up pretty fast, so I moved a little bit around, and as I moved, I didn't realize those guys were right on top of that other bull. He was actually coming up the hill fast, but it happened so fast, and that bull caught me. So, Hollywood Hunter's fault. We've hunted all over the world, and that being said, there's nothing more majestic, nothing more intense than hunting elk when they're in the Rocky Mountains.
Apologize. My bad.
You never know. Every hunt's gonna be different. You just gotta be prepared for anything.
Close encounters call for close attention as Dan Cam found out the hard way. But there's a lot more in store for his adventure and all the other hunters here on the Harteis Ranch.
I think there's going to be a bull out here in the horse pasture, so we got a couple options. We'll go around and head up Apache. Let's go get him.
Yeah, we're going to climb up the backside of the wall here and get behind them as they're coming up from the meadow. Let's get it done.
See him? Yeah. The big one's to the right of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna go in way down there. They're already in the timber down there.
Ready?
Ryan goes out with him, and they see elk on the neighboring property. And actually, he cow calls these elk that come right to him.
He's still walking this way.
Pretty incredible. So then before you know it, they're standing in the open. That bull comes running up the hill, and as it runs up there, it sees them as quickly as they see it, and the bull turns and bolts.
Did you see him? He looked right at us and took off. He bolted, yeah. Didn't even move.
So they never did get an opportunity there either.
That wind keeps changing. I'd rather play it safe because they'll come right down tonight.
So after watching that footage, I realized that Dan needs me to kind of jump on him a little bit more about this, where he needs to be concealed. He needs to be in the brush. He's not going to get a shot at an elk unless he's a little more stealthy. So I think he got it at this time. I'm hoping he gets one more experience. So I sent Jamie and Daniel out to Big Fred's Pond. I'm sure you've heard, if you don't like the weather in Colorado, wait 5 minutes, because it changes on a dime. But what we love so much is when it gets dreary, when it gets cold, when it gets rainy or snowy, because that's when the animals move. It's the heat and the dry and the sun is what keeps them from moving, you know, during daylight hours. So we're getting pretty enthused and excited because the weather's shifting a little bit. But we didn't expect this much rain. It's getting crazy. Oh man, I hope they're okay because it is pouring. Well, I know from experience, as soon as that rain slows down a bit, those elk are going to be moving in on their feet. Well, the last hour comes, and before you know it, here comes a pile of elk. The cows tend to funnel in first, and here they come stampeding into the water. Well, the one thing that Jamie forgot to do was to stand up. Well, this big bull comes in and he's making a scene and he's bugling right in Jamie's face at 15 yards, and it was intense, it was exciting, and more than anything, it was frustrating because he didn't have that opportunity that he really wanted, and that was to whack that bull. That bull came in so close to him. But because he was seated, there was a limb that he could not shoot through, and the bull got away. But I guess you learn from experience. He didn't get the opportunity he really wanted, but it was an incredible experience. And that was something we all dream of, is having a big monster 6-point bull just screaming in our faces. What a crazy experience. You could even see one of the cows go over to the GoPro and knock it off the stand into the water. What the heck?
We're just gonna walk up and hunt this edge and then hunt that meadow.
So now as the hunt continues, Steve actually takes on Bob and they go up to the canyon. Before you know it, they get on 2 big bulls. They're circling around trying to get the wind right down in the canyon. They get on them. Steve starts cow calling, but they're nowhere to be found. They just couldn't put it together.
He was about halfway up that hill when you hit that cow call. He turned around and looked, and then you hit it again, and he went right in there. He didn't, I mean quick. He did not like it at all. It was very obvious he didn't like that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't even hesitate.
Armscor ammo. Right on target, right on the price. Scent crusher. Scent off. Game on. Rapto Razor takes field dressing to a whole new level. Visit raptorazor.com. Excalibur Crossbows, the most accurate hunting crossbow. ExcaliburCrossbow.com. Keystone Sporting Arms, home of the Cricket, Chipmunk, and the new 722.
Tree Stand Buddy, the quick attach slide mount system for hang-on tree stands.
Ripcord's new Ace Standard with the Firefall design. See the Ace difference. Hollywood Hunter is also brought to you by these fine sponsors. The frustration builds as each hunter gets more than a glance at these incredible creatures. With only a little time left to connect, playtime is over. These hunters need to make it happen.
So last evening of the hunt, Dan and Ryan, they get on an elk again in a good bull.
We were down by the meadow, behind some trees. Saw some cows come in with a bull following it.
There's actually cows there, and it's quite an experience, and the wind's kind of blowing all over the place, and they aren't winded yet. That bull turns broadside. There was a cow that was staring at him for several minutes.
We had a small window, about maybe 4 feet wide. He took a step broadside, straight in front, and felt like it was the only opportunity. Last night, so thought I would take a 60-yard shot uphill.
He draws the bow and shoots, and shoots over the back. Unbelievable, but I'll tell you, it's all about the experience of the hunt. He had a great time. He was a little bummed, obviously, because his dream's to bring an elk home, and that's the biggest thing on his bucket list.
It was a fun night, though.
It was a fun night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan put us on the elk, and Freddie gave us the opportunity to be in here, and so, you know, we were blessed to have an opportunity and have that bull come in. And I wish things would have gone differently, but we'll have to wait for another day.
He had a ton of great experiences, and I think next time he's going to get it done because he learned so much.
I had a near impossible shot.
He did not kill an elk, he threw an arrow, but hey, that's hunting. It's not about going to the grocery store, it's about going out there and pursuing it and finding what you want, and sometimes it works out in your favor and other times it doesn't. Now it's a new morning, Jamie's fired up, he knows there's elk everywhere, and he's ready and he better be thinking on his feet.
We got some snow in the high country last night, so that's a great sign. It's going to turn these bulls on and they're going to start coming down.
That'll get them fired up.
Absolutely. So let's go see what's going on.
They topped the ridge. There's elk everywhere. They were right in on them, right when they topped the ridge. They were 15 yards away, and they were trying to figure out how to get in the middle of them without them being winded and get a shot at that big bull that was down there glunking right underneath them.
I told him, I said, look, there's something up in this brush. Let's get on the edge, let's sneak up there.
As they get right into the scrub oak, there's elk 15 yards away, and the scrub oak's so thick they can't see each other, but they could hear the elk right there and hear them breathing. And Steve said, let's just wait and see if that bull steps out and gives us a shot.
They were close and they were moving up that ridge right to us.
He's rubbing on the tree and making a fuss and commotion, and they can't see him. The elk somehow gets above them and opens up right up on the road and steps out. Well, Jamie swings the bow, draws it, ranges it, shoots within a second, makes an incredible shot right into that elk as the elk actually ducks the string, which is the first time in the history of the ranch I've ever seen an elk duck the string. Crazy. Hit him a little high, hit him in the lungs, and the elk took off from there. The elk moved a little bit. It's not a perfect shot. I think it's a one lung type situation where the elk will go a little ways, but he's gonna expire before too long.
They were right on top of us. I could smell his breath. Let's go watch the footage. Get ready. Come back up and get your bull. Let's do it.
We go back to the lodge.
Oh my God, how do you wrap up that top off?
We put the footage on the TV and it reveals he's hit a little high because that elk ducked. So we gave it some time, had breakfast, then the pursuit was on. So at this point, we get the whole search party together, all the guys head up on the hill, and we start dissecting where this elk could be and couldn't be.
I think he went this way.
So Jamie had to get back to reality and back to Pennsylvania, and we told him we'd take it from here, we're gonna find that elk.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by Arms Corps Ammo.
Lo and behold, Steve finds that elk, and we get him out of the woods, and we kept it a secret till we got back. And I'll tell you, Jamie was one happy camper. Bob, he didn't end up getting an elk, but he chalked up for a ton of experience, and I know he'll be back. From experience, I've noticed that the biggest highs and lows come from hunting elk with a bow and arrow. Jamie not being able to find the elk and him having to take off, and Bob having some great encounters, you know, just not being able to put it together, but that's hunting. Those guys really appreciate the opportunity.